Welcome back to the Normal Sports Show. My name's Kyle Porter. We are presented today by OGO, who we will talk about a little bit later on. I've got Sean Martin back. Sean, you are a two-time guest of the show, of the podcast. How's that feel?
It feels great. Almost as good as when Blaine told me he'd be on last week's episode, which I loved. It gave me great joy that he was my fill-in, which I made sure to tell him that, hey, the only reason you're on is because I couldn't make it. So
you told him that.
It was nice to have that one up on him because he's better looking than me. He's stronger. He's a better golfer. So finally, I have something on him.
That's great. Now everybody knows that thing that I was trying to not have him or anybody know. He was, yeah. What did you like about it? Like, what was your takeaway from it?
He's just one of my favorite people to talk to. It's nice now that in his new role, he still comes out on tour every once in a while. And so I'll still see him. And whenever we're in the same city, we'll do coffee together usually. He's one of my favorite people to talk to. So listening to him, and you are as well. So listening to the two of you talk, just honestly, it was great because I didn't have to put any effort in. I didn't have to add to the conversation. I could just sit back and enjoy it. So
I find him to be he's very thoughtful. He's very interesting. He's always thinking and often about golf. And I don't think I realized, and if people haven't listened to it, you should go back and listen, but I don't know that I realized how. I remember you writing the story about his penalty, calling a penalty on himself in Q school and DQ and all that stuff. I don't think I realized what a big role that played in his next 10 years, like his professional golf journey. And is that something that you guys talked about along the way as you were covering him and as he was playing?
So we've had a really interesting relationship. Like, I've known him since he was in college golf. His freshman year, he was really good. His coach at UCF was Nick Kleinert, who's now the Auburn coach, the coach that's won 2 of the last 3 NCAAs. And so Nick went to Auburn while Blaine was at school, and Blaine followed him. But I remember the Barbers, like, just a super sweet family. He may not want me to share this, but like, Blaine's mom would caddy for him, and they would wear matching loudmouth bottoms. She would wear a loudmouth skirt to match his loudmouth pants. But they were super, so they stood out for that reason. But they were just super sweet people. So they were very kind. And I feel like, the amateur circuit that I was covering, like, many weeks a year, like, it's a very small world. And so you get to know those people well, which is one of the joys of covering it. And it was just always great to see the Barbers. Like, they were super sweet people, like I said. And then, covered him throughout college, obviously a strong player, a Walker Cupper. And then, I covered that whole bunker mishap, which people may not remember. It's been 10 years now, where basically one of his brothers was caddying for him in Q school, second stage. It was his first attempt, I believe. And he just couldn't get out of his head that he felt like his club had brushed the sand on his backstroke. And his brother was like, no, I was watching. It didn't touch it.
No. It was a leaf, right?
Leaf. Yes, it was a leaf. Okay. Yeah. Something involving loose impediments in the bunker. And his brother was like, I was watching. Nothing happened. You're fine. Blaine plays on. And he's playing well. He's in contention to advance. And I think, I'm trying to remember now, I think it was the next day where he finally goes, you know what? I can't be certain. And if you can't be certain, you have to call the penalty on yourself. So he called the penalty on himself, and back then it's DQ for signing an incorrect scorecard because your score was lower. And so he basically gets DQ'd from Q school, second stage. So you're talking about a promising young player, Walker Cupper. He's now basically, relegated to the mini tours for something that, people would not have, no one would have noticed, nobody would have known, but his just own sense of guilt and uncertainty was too much. He didn't want to potentially get out on tour and like have this hanging over his head of, did it move, did it not? So he felt the only way to exonerate himself was to DQ himself. And one of the proudest moments of my career, really, that I still remember is I texted his agent and go, hey, saw Blaine got DQ'd from second stage. What happened? And he's like, I knew you would be the one to find it. And, Blaine and I had a good relationship, so we were able to talk about it and tell the story. But yeah, and then a bunch of other weird things happened. He signed an incorrect scorecard on Corn Ferry Tour one year, and it was DQ'd when in contention. And I think part of that as well kind of related back to that same sort of anxiety of not wanting to mess up again. And I remember when he finally got through Q school to get his Corn Ferry Tour card, his wife, Morgan, she could tell I was waiting there to interview him. And she's like, just don't talk. She was half joking, I think. Don't talk to him until it's official, till the card is done, till everything, we're certain he's not going to get DQ'd. Like, we just got to get him through this. We got to get him out there. But we've just stayed in touch over the years. I think he's been really open in recent years, especially about anxiety and the role it's
Yeah.
played in his career. And even, he would openly admit like that he didn't come anywhere near fulfilling the potential he felt like he had. And a lot of it was because of just constant fear and anxiety. Um, and so we've been able to have really good conversations about that. And I think now that he speaks so openly about it, I think is really a service to a lot of people and appreciate it. He's just a great person to have conversation with for those reasons.
Yeah, totally. I think you and I both identify with the idea of uh like wanting to do the right thing and like
Maybe
almost
you more than me. I would like to think
and
so, but
well, the reason I say that is because golf is such it can get in your head of like, even when I'm playing a match with friends, I'm like, hey, my ball moved over here, I did that, whatever, and you're like, I just like, there's just such a like, to me, doing the right thing or like being in the like above reproach is so much more important than anything else. And I can see, like, I have not experienced what Blaine experienced. Obviously, wasn't a professional athlete, wasn't even close, but I can very easily see how that could get in your head and really like mess with you. And so I think his story, his talent is not relatable and his career is not really relatable to a lot of people, but I don't know, for me and maybe for others, like his journey and like the things that he has struggled with, those are very relatable things for anybody that's, like played golf or like been around golf at all, or like even not even in golf, but like other jobs. Like you're like, I so badly just want to do the right thing, and then you have anxiety about it and all these different things. And yeah, I'm very grateful to him for sharing that and for being very open about it. So
yeah, and the adjustment from life on tour or playing professional golf to, I think we've talked at our ages now, you talk about like certain dreams coming to an end that, maybe don't make sense to pursue anymore. Obviously, he, very openly has dealt with that, of like the professional golf dream had to come to an end eventually to provide for your family. And I think people, even in their careers, if they're not switching jobs, maybe switching roles, where some of the things they dreamed about doing their entire lives, it no longer makes sense to do. And working through that, and the different priorities of like, hey, my job, doing what I want to do versus what provides for my family, what's best for my family.
yeah.
Those are things everyone can relate to, or at least of a certain age. And we're very much of that same age. Especially, I think I'm 10 years older than him, but we had kids around the same time because I started a little later. So yeah, and then honestly, there's just a fun relationship of, I text him still, like I still tell him I feel bad I left him off my freshman preseason All-American team because he missed the cut at an AJGA event at Bay Hill and was like, oh, he can't handle the big boy courses. And then he finished, I still remember, I texted him, I remember off the top of my head, he finished 7th in NCAAs his freshman year. And I was like, man, you look like an idiot. Like, he wasn't on your preseason team, which nobody remembered. And now he's, top 10 in NCAAs. So I wear it with a badge of pride. I'm the foremost, like, Blaine Barber biographer there is. I can tell you a lot of random stuff. Unfortunately, that role doesn't pay well. So
I think you're the foremost biographer of a lot of former amateurs of that age. I was thinking as you were talking, like, how unfathomable is it to think about somebody covering amateur golf full time in that capacity? I mean, there is amateurgolf.com but I mean, when you were doing that for Golf Week, that was not, I keep saying this, that was not that long ago, and the model of just covering golf and how it all works has completely changed since then.
yeah, and honestly, I mean, travel's expensive, so it was really more. I mean, Golf Week like wanted to make the investment, but also I think frankly we were privately owned by someone who like didn't mind taking the financial loss every year because they loved having that sort of position of influence in the golf industry. And unless you have like that benevolent private owner, which doesn't work out for every media outlet, I think we've seen recently, then you're not going to invest in those sorts of things. Because I do think, Andy mentioned it on the Friday or Shotgun Start last week, like the amount of interest once you get below the PGA Tour it wanes quickly. There's amazing stories out there, and Ryan French does a great job telling them. There's people
Yeah.
still at Golf Week and other independent outlets that tell the stories of amateur golf, but like from a mainstream, you're going to attract eyeballs level. Like the interest just isn't there to support it financially. You have to be really probably creative to make it happen. So you see a lot of people kind of dabble and dip their toes. Like I think we all kind of do. We pay attention. We know the big names, but like to live it to the level that I would say that, you know, I did back then or even Brentley does now is very, very rare.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of amateur golf, NCAAs, how much did you follow? How invested were you? How much did you watch compared to like what you usually do?
I'll be honest, I didn't watch much. Just life was kind of getting in the way. I hope this doesn't come off too harsh. The drama of the team stuff like is interesting. I like watching the highlights of like final putts and seeing teams win and go through the drama. I don't really care about the team stuff too much. Like for me, college golf, I just want to know like, hey, who's good, who's next. Like I love the individual stuff. The
Mm.
team titles, I don't know. The drama's great. The format's great. It makes great TV. I just didn't watch much this year because of just work
Has
and
that
stuff
always
getting in
been
the
the
way.
case? Have you always not?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I just think yes, is it a team sport? And I think the match play has made it much more of a team sport. Um, but I still just I want to know, hey, who are the top 5, 10 guys out of this class? Like who are the guys that you really want to start to follow and get to know now? I just have always found that interesting. Not sure why, but that's always been my main interest, I would say.
It was interesting. You know, I was talking about this with, I think it was Hayden Martin at the end of last week, my other co-host here. And we're talking about how, you know, the NCAAs being at a neutral location, um, they were showing like old footage. Not, I mean, it's not that old, but like when the NCAAs were at Oregon or when they were at Oklahoma State, like these sort of on campus
Mm-hmm.
golf courses. And it felt like there was so much more electricity whenever you had the, you know, on campus stuff rather than this sort of not sterile, but just like very neutral location at La Costa or Greyhawk or whatever. You covered way more back then when it was on these campuses. Do you wish they would go back to that?
In some ways, I feel like the advantage was like way too great. I don't want to say that these schools wouldn't have won titles if they'd been held at other courses, but I mean, you look at Oregon in 2016 sweeping individual and team titles at Eugene Country Club. You have to feel like it contributed, and also just the home crowd and the familiarity. I mean, Karsten in 2018, like Oklahoma State probably is winning that anyways. They're the best team in the country with like Hovland and Wolf as this unstoppable 1-2 combo. But yeah, I think I get the desire to make Carlsbad into Omaha, but there's a lot of reasons I don't know that that will happen. Of just people don't travel to see college golf, like they will travel to see their teams play college baseball. So you're not going to have random Oklahoma State fan. I mean, I've met a couple over the year that are like diehard. Usually they're big boosters and they have a lot of money and access to like private jets, but you'll meet a handful of like boosters that will go follow their teams, but you're not getting crowds just going to Carlsbad, tailgating outside the Omni, like, you know, doing jello shots when a guy hits makes an eagle or something. So it's never going to turn into Omaha. The West Coast thing though is awesome because that's
Yeah.
like the perfect slot for it. Is prime time. If you put it on middle of the day, people are at work, they're probably not turning it on, but like that time slot is perfect. So there's good and bad. I mean, the scene was definitely electric, when they were closer to campuses, but I've got to think too, things like even just wiring it for the telecast, that kind of stuff. There's probably a lot of, it's a horrible word, but efficiencies that make it easier to do it. So I think overall it makes sense because I think the West Coast is the place to have it. And so better to go to like the same spot on the West Coast than, maybe move it around.
The road to Carlsbad.
I mean, I think that's the goal. I think whether or not that's stated, I think it's been stated. I think that's the goal, is to give it an identity at least, which it does. It makes it gives an identity, it makes it familiar. I was listening to a Shotgun Start last week too of like the Women's Open at Riviera. It's so helpful that fans know like what the next hole looks like, that they know
Hmm.
what the finishing stretch looks like. They know what players are about to face because they see it every year. And so if it stays at Omni for 10, 15 years, then holes become familiar. You build up history like, hey, this is where Jackson Koiven did this, or Luke Clanton did this. This is where, Preston Stout, made birdie to romp at the individual title. Like it. So I think consistent sites are powerful. Um, I don't know that it will become Omaha per se.
Yeah, I think I think it's difficult because the place that I think of as it relates to that is the Players Championship. It's TPC Sawgrass, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right somewhere behind you out there. And it takes a long time. It's
Yeah.
not, you can't do it in 2 years or 5 years or even 15 years. It just, for me, the Players Championship has really come into its own of like, man, this is awesome. And I really look forward to it. And part of that is because of that, compounding viewership, I guess, or compounding experience, I guess I would say. But compounding takes years and years and decades for that to happen. So I don't know. Maybe that happens with NCAAs in some ways, but I'm a little more dubious of that than obviously something like a Players or even like an Omaha where it's like year after year. Although Omaha's changed. I mean, I remember, we can kind of segue into this, but I remember going to Rosenblatt as a kid or as a college student whenever I was done playing with my
This is the
family.
Pete
It was
Incaviglia
awesome.
years.
It was I'm 41, not 71. And I think it was 2005 or 6, something like that. But Rosenblatt is very different than whatever it's Charles Schwab or whatever it is now, which I'm going to with my son this weekend. We're going to College World Series. So yeah, I don't know. Like that part of it is, I guess, as it relates to College World Series, is a little bit of a bummer. But there is this weird mystique about like Omaha. Like people just it has become a thing outside of what it actually is that people latch onto, and yeah, college baseball definitely has that going for it. How much your Cal Poly squad lost out in the super regionals? Have you been locked into regionals, super regionals so far?
So back to Carlsbad real quick. Like I was listening to a interview that our social team, that Kevin Price did with Koiven after I think the individual portion of NCAA's, and he kind of mentioned something of like that getting to Carlsbad and La Costa specifically like is a goal, and I think it's more of a goal. You always want to get to the NCAA championship, but I feel like it is more of a goal and more of like a target when it is the same venue. So I do think that helps. And also if you can
Yeah.
build some infrastructure for the broadcast, like knowing it'll come back annually, you might be able to do broadcast stuff that you wouldn't be able to do if you're going to a new spot every single year.
Yeah. I just
Omaha.
don't, I mean, real quick
Yeah.
with some of that, maybe my thing is I don't know if I love the golf course.
Right.
I like it. I've played it. It's fun. I don't know if I love it for an NCAA venue. And I think that's where
We've
you were
gotten
the
good.
Players Champion.
We've gotten good
Go ahead.
individual winners though, I feel like.
It has or hasn't?
I feel like it has.
I feel like it hasn't.
I mean, you got Stout this year, who's the number 2 player in the world. 2 years ago, I mean, I think Hiroshi Tai won, but the list of runners up was like Ben James, Jackson Koiven. It was like everybody. It was kind of like a Roniming this year, where like maybe the guy you weren't expecting won, but a ton of good names were in contention and had chances. They just didn't get it done. So I feel like
if you look, so if you look back at the individual winners, it's let's see here. I've got it. Stout.
I mean, and Lasasso, I mean, who knows where he will end up or what's going to happen with that career, but Lasasso was a Walker Cupper and kind of a top name in golf or in college golf when he won it.
Yeah, Lasasso beat Stout, Koiven. So I mean, yeah, you've had guys up there, but it might also be a little bit of it's a major championship. Like, of course, you're gonna have a good leaderboard situation.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know that the course really like pops for me in the same way a TPC Sawgrass does. Now, TPC Sawgrass is like a world-class tournament championship golf course, so that's an unfair comparison. But yeah, also I don't know that there's probably not a ton of people that even care about this outside of like us and the people that are listening.
Yeah, I'm not sure the full level. I don't know what the like viewership numbers look like. It does feel like it gets a good strong buzz, at least among like core golf Twitter when it's going on.
Yeah, for sure. What were you going to
I,
say about NCAA baseball?
yeah, I mean, super regionals were tough. It was the first time our
For
team, the Cal Poly, had made it, so that was exciting for the school. Been to a regional final the year before. I, I've really gotten into college baseball more and more over the last couple years. I always kind of liked it in theory and kind of stayed aware. Like I remember being in my aunt and uncle's house when Warren Morris hit the like
mm,
walk off for LSU. I remember. I don't know if Mark Kotze also walked it off. Mark Kotze at Fullerton did something where, at my age, I'm like, well, how did Mark Kotze not become the just best player in Major League Baseball? And yeah, I think that's the perfect example though of like consistent venues give identity. I think I don't know what would happen with the College World Series if you just moved it around. Maybe it'd be good, but I don't know that it would be as good.
yeah. Mark Hotze was, I mean, we were talking on this podcast because we do this little thing where we name a random baseball player, and Mark Hotze was mine a couple weeks ago. And I was just, my co-host Hayden is too young to have experienced Mark Hotze, but I was like, he was a god.
Well,
Like
this is
he was,
before they rolled back the bats. I mean, guys like you had guys hitting 450 every year. Like
do you
I
remember,
forget.
do you remember Todd Helton at Tennessee? He
Yeah,
pitched, hit, like all
I mean
of
that
it.
was Buster Posey. Buster Posey played shortstop his first year at FSU. Then he played catcher. He was the reliever. I mean Posey would literally take off the catching gear to then come in as a reliever.
That's like, that's, that's like
I
12U
mean,
baseball.
that makes Otani look like child's play.
Yeah, I think we share a love for college I mean, I've loved it for like a long time. You probably like more recently, but I just think it is among college sports, I think it's the most underrated. I think it's
Yeah.
awesome. I
I
think
mean,
it's
look, it has a passionate fan base because like my college baseball tweets are getting way more engagement than my golf tweets. Like I may need to make a shift here and just go full time. We'll see. It's definitely got a very energetic fan base that I think they're in this funny space right now where they're very excited about the extra attention they're getting, but th're also a little nervous about what this is going to mean. Because I think
what do
like,
you
well, I think like you've said, it's kind of the NCAA baseball tournament is now what we wish March Madness still was.
yes.
Like so many upsets. Um, it's on campus venues, which is awesome. Like you talked about NCAA golf. Like, I mean, part of the thing with West Virginia is Cal Poly got their doors blown off. Besides having like this just janky like mound that was basically like a piece of carpet glued onto an AstroTurf mound. And I hope people from West Virginia are listening to this and tweet at me about it because I think it's like you're a premier program in the country and you have a piece of shag carpeting as your pitching mound. And like we got rocked, but I'm sorry. Like I think I haven't pitched in my life, but I've got to think, when you are used to pitching on real dirt like an adult and all of a sudden you get thrown onto like this shag carpeting, like it's going to affect you. So anyways, I don't know where we're going with that, but the campus venues add a lot, the upsets add a lot. And it's funny too, but it also shows like I'm kind of afraid for like the future of college sports because I would rather have like my school, like a mid major, like go into the Division I tournament every year, and like you're not going to win. You really just hope to make it to like supers maybe. Um, I'd rather have that every year than like, hey, we might win the NCAA, what is basically now like Division II, non-SEC, non-Power Four
Yeah.
tournament every year. Like, don't think I'd get really super interested in like a postseason tournament where Cal Poly and Fresno State and Utah Valley are facing off. Like, I'd rather just get our doors kicked in by West Virginia, but at least have been there and beaten like some teams to get there than like this just permanent cleavage of like Power Four does their own thing. Everyone else is left to just kind of do their own thing. Cause then you're basically Division II. And like that one run to like the Sweet 16 for a basketball team or super regionals for a baseball team means so much more, I think, than like, yeah, we beat the, Mountain West Conference in the WAC and like we won a quote unquote national title against them. So
Yeah.
it's hard. Like as a as a fan of a mid-major team, I fear what college sports will look like when that split happens. Because on the flip side, it's also harder than ever for a mid-major team to compete because, like, I mean, we played an SEC team last year, and our athletic director told me every kid on that roster, even the last kid on the roster, is getting six figures in NIL. And so, like, the gulf is bigger than ever between a
Wait,
Cal Poly
what sport in basketball?
baseball.
Baseball?
Baseball. Last kid on the
No,
team was getting $100,000.
no.
SEC school in your home state. Yeah, I believe
Wow.
it. But anyways, so the gulf has never been bigger between the mid majors and the quote unquote big boys. So it's harder than ever to compete, but I'd still rather take our chances and hope for that like once in a lifetime update or upset than play Fresno State and Oregon State and I don't know.
Yeah. So a couple things. One, I think baseball is for whatever reason, I'm sure our friend Kevin Moore could do the math on it, but it's easier to engender upsets than like a football. And I think probably than a basketball too. And part of that is like if you have one ace, like you can win a game, and then like maybe something weird happens in game two, or there's just a bunch of different variables that, if you play a 4-quarter football game against Georgia, like you're never going to win as Cal, as whoever. But in baseball you can, and I think for whatever reason, the math behind it makes it the perfect postseason college event, and the way they have it set up, it's so perfect. Two other things. One, is West Virginia a premier program? This is their first College World Series. I would push back on that.
They're Big 12. They made 3 straight super regionals. I mean, they were, I think, the 16 seed. So, I mean, at least the last few years they've been a premier program. Like a high level, you're in the Big 12.
And
install
then
some dirt. I guess maybe they can't grow dirt in West Virginia.
Well, 3 is that's what I was going to say. Is we like not to go full like old man yells at clouds or full Nick Saban? Is this what we want football to be? I can't. The turf fields. I don't know. Like I don't like them. I think they suck.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's because college baseball starts so early, and some of these places it gets super cold. I mean, I'm sure it snows in West Virginia. Like, is it just too hard to get good turf in time, like grass in time for baseball season because it starts early? Most of those teams are going down to Florida and warm weather places anyways, but I was wondering if the early start is a reason. But yeah, I'm with you. Like, I'm not a big fan of AstroTurf fields, but I also don't know if it's a necessity just because of the timing of college baseball.
I think that,
but the non-dirt mound makes no sense to me. Like, we can get dirt, man. Like, just get some dirt.
I think I said this. I was texting some guys the other day. I think turf fields are like AI for athletics.
Yeah.
It's like, it's more efficient. It's probably commercially more lucrative, but it's not better.
Well, that's the thing with college baseball. There's still enough chaos to make it really interesting. Like, you still have enough errors that a ball in play still could mean anything. So I think there's enough chaos to make it interesting, and I think obviously a turf or a AstroTurf field makes that less likely. So I'm with you. I'm not a turf field guy, but I don't know if there's meteorological reasons for that.
Meteorological. Do you like watching college baseball or pro baseball better?
I mean, week in, week out, pro baseball. But like, I mean, I'll watch like ESPN Plus. I have to think has been huge for college baseball. That's really what got me back into it. Is like I can watch every Cal Poly home game, and like I've as much time as people have spent like watching the NBA playoffs. I've spent watching like Cal Poly regular season baseball games. Like my kids can name the starting lineup. So I just I don't know. I watch a decent amount of like Big West Conference regular season ball. I don't watch as much like big time. Part of it, we have YouTube TV. I think I haven't synced our account to get like SEC Network and ACC Network, which I probably should, so I can watch some big time ball. But like, I'll definitely put on a Cal Poly baseball game.
Who are you rooting for in the College World Series?
It's a great question. I don't really have a dog in this fight at this point. It's interesting too with sports like this because I was wondering if there was almost too much chaos in the the baseball tournament this year, where like you lost so many brand name teams that just like how like ESPN executives root for like, Yankees, Dodgers World Series over like Royals, Reds, like was it almost too much where you lost like, I mean, no offense, sorry, Troy, but like Troy's not bringing in like huge numbers probably. Like you have 5 SEC teams, but was was there almost too much chaos, I wonder?
No, I mean, no. Like, I mean, okay, so one side of the bracket is OU, Alabama, Texas, Georgia. Those are all like
Yeah.
very brand name. Like that's like
It's the SEC side of the
yeah,
docket.
that's crazy. It's all SEC. There's 5 SEC. That kind of sucks. And then the other side of the bracket is Troy, West Virginia, North Carolina, who I think I'm rooting for, and Ole Miss.
Yeah, I don't really have a dog in that fight. Maybe I mean OU. My aunt and uncle are OU fans. They live in Oklahoma City, so maybe OU. Sorry to disappoint
Yeah,
you there.
I mean it's. I feel like I'm far enough away from my Oklahoma State, running my Oklahoma State side and being whatever. Like they're not in the Big 12 anymore.
Robin
I am
Ventura is not walking
excited.
through that door.
Do I?
Robin Ventura is not walking through that door.
No, he's not. Oklahoma State hadn't been to the Super Regionals in 7 years. They got beat by Alabama in their regional final, but I'm so pumped. Like I'm going on one of our actually normal sport readers got me and my son tickets or gave me and my son tickets, and so we're going to both games on Friday, both games on Saturday, and so we'll see all 8 teams play. It's going to be awesome. I've never been to the new park. I'm so pumped for it. I think it's just going to be like such a great time.
Omaha is not easy to get to. It's farther north than I realized.
Yeah, it's 8. So we're driving. It's 8 hours from Dallas. So it's not.
Yeah.
It was right on the verge of like we could fly, but I don't know, road trip.
So my wife's family is diehard FSU fans. They got like season tickets, and they drove one year to Omaha. So I was like, oh, maybe it's doable because we only live 2.5 hours from Tallahassee, and it's like 20 hours to Omaha from Jacksonville.
Oh, that's great. Okay, I got some more questions for you. We're actually going to talk a little golf, but I was thinking about this during NCAAs, and you are a deep well of knowledge as it relates to this. But who's a golfer from just the past that you find yourself just popping into your head, or you just find yourself thinking about this golfer like every so often?
I don't know that I think about them a lot, but I wish that he got more credit. But it was, and I prepared for this question ahead of time, but it's Jerry Pate. I think the guy's career has been reduced to jumping in the water at TPC, but he won a U.S. Amateur, he won a U.S. Open at 22 years old. The 82 players when he jumped in the lake, the first one at TPC Sawgrass, was his 8th tour win. He was 28 years old, and it was his last tour win. He had shoulder injuries. I did a retrospective, kind of an oral history on the 82 players. And he said that he was getting ready for the 82 Open Championship at Troon, which is also the one where Bobby Clampett just imploded. And so you could say Troon ruined 2 great golfers' careers in 82. And he was hitting, like basically working on Stinger 1-irons at home in Pensacola. And he just hit one, club digs into the dirt, and he just feels like something gave in his shoulder. And he was never the same. Never won on tour again. But like if you think 20 years old, 8 tour wins, a major, a Players, a U.S. Amateur, like the guy was so good. He told a story because he won the 82 Players with an orange ball, and the reason he used it, he had been given it to play like I think it was the Argentinian Open back when guys would kind of go down to South America in the winter, and he won it by 28 strokes. He said, so the Colombian Open in 81, he won by 21 strokes. So he kept in the bag, or kept using the orange ball. But I remember asking him too, like, cause he hits it stiff on the last hole at TPC, and he was a 5-iron. And you may not remember this, but like the U.S. Open that he won, you definitely
don't remember this.
The U.S. Open that he won at Atlanta Athletic Club, he hit 5-iron, like knocked it stiff over water, makes birdie to win. And he did the same at and everyone accused him of pulling his shot. He's like, oh, he pulled it. There's no way he's aiming at that flag. Like, no chance. You know, he was probably doing decade before we knew what decade was. And he stiffs it again with a 5-iron at TPC Sawgrass. And he basically says to the press, like, oh, did I pull that one too? And he's like, he told me, he's like, when you're that good a ball striker, like, you aim at the flag with everything. And it's like a 5-iron from like 190 with an orange ball and a forged blade and water all around. I mean, he was just a ball striker, and then he just got hurt. And like, I mean, it would have been an amazing career if he'd been able to continue without injury.
I need to, so a couple things. One, if you pull up his
Wikipedia,
he looks so young. Like, there's a photo of him when he won the USAM, which he was young, but he just looks like I mean, so, you know, some of these guys, whenever your experience of them, or for me, you just, like, I only know Johnny Miller as like an older man. You know, I didn't experience his career when he was like, you know, an amazing amateur or winning Oakmont or whatever. And so it's just sometimes jarring to see photos of people like that. But I might need to dig into this 1981 Colombian Open. I mean, he went 64, 67, 66, 65. So whatever, 26 under. I mean, his strokes gained had to be like an all-time record.
Yeah, 100%. The thing I love about that era too is like there wasn't all the coverage that there is now of like, you just didn't know what everyone was doing, so you didn't know how you stacked up. So like I remember him saying like, yeah, I don't know, I felt like I was pretty good, and like, well, then I won the U.S. Amateur, so like I realized like, okay, I must be pretty good at golf. And then he's like, I played in a couple tour events as an amateur and like contended and won. I was like, okay, like I might actually be able to do this.
Yeah.
And like Jack Nicklaus tells kind of the same story of like, yeah, I don't know, like I felt like I was pretty good at golf, and like then they named me to the Walker Cup team, and I was like, wow, I must be one of the 12 best amateurs in the country. And like, and then he's like, I won the U.S. Amateur, and I was like, God, I must be pretty good at this game. And like now, like, I mean, we've known Jackson Coyman is gonna be good like for years,
right?
And just, you know, we know Miles Russell, like he's gonna turn pro, and people are gonna have known his name for a decade. And it was so different back then. There's such an innocence because there's so little coverage on it that you had no idea like what other people were doing. So you were just like, I don't know, like Jack Nicklaus was like, yeah, I must have been pretty good at this game. Like I made the walk-up team when I was 19 or whatever.
It is weird. And I don't know if it's better or worse, but it's so different than, you know, like we have data golf now, and Jackson Coyman's ranked like 45 in the world. And you're like, that's fairly reasonable. Like that's not a crazy thing, because we have, you know, like whatever you think about data golf, but we have the math to show like, this is kind of like the level that he performs at. And for Jack Nicklaus to not even know like where he's stacked up, like, I don't know, there is some nostalgia there of like, all that mattered was winning, and how many events did you win, and like I don't know where you land on some of the analytics stuff. I think I love it, but it also, I can see where it gets very tiring in one sense, whether it's baseball or football or, you know, obviously golf, which we're both deeply invested in. I can see where people are like, whatever, man, like I don't care about a strokes gain, like do you win the tournament? And I totally get that side of things also.
I think, you know, we talk about like so much about like stars versus Cinderellas and what's the best makeup of a tournament, but like there must have been so many more Cinderellas back then because people just didn't know like who people were. So like a guy like let's say Cameron Young this year, like back then probably like, oh, he's won once, he's, you know, some mediocre journeyman, like he's been around for 5 years, only won once. Like, oh, Cameron Young like upsets US Open champion Matt Fitzpatrick at the Players, versus like now we're like, data golf, he's been +2 strokes gained for the last 4 years. Like he drives like an animal, like he's just a matter of time before he breaks out. Like we're so aware of everything, whereas like there was this innocence of like, yeah, that guy's probably not very good, and so man, he beat Jack Nicklaus. What a shock that was. That was such a dandy tournament. Like, so I think we do miss that a little bit because now feels like we know everything about everyone. Like we know that Jackson Coyman last season averaged like +1 strokes gained putting, which is like all time. So we know Jackson Coyman is an amazing putter, slightly longer than average, and a fairly straight driver. And it's fun to know that, I guess, but like it's also fun when guys just rock up seemingly out of nowhere and like win a tournament.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, I think,
I don't know if you saw US Open qualifying, the kid yesterday who didn't know the US Open was next week.
yeah, I did see
Like
that.
I love that. Like
Yeah.
how much freer must that kid have been to like, he doesn't know when the US Open is. Like you're just the lack of what's going on in here, I guess. Like he's not worried about hotels and like, man, I'm going to be playing against like Rory next week. He's just like hitting shots.
So if people haven't seen it, I think it was Ryan Labner was interviewing him, and he said something like, "Are you excited or are you nervous about playing in the U.S. Open next week, or how do you prepare for that, or whatever?" And the way he answered was very funny because it wasn't. He answered like in stride. He's like, "Well, I didn't know the U.S. Open was next week, but here's my answer." It was very
But
funny.
even his previous answers were amazing too, because Ryan asked him like, well, how nervous were you coming down the stretch? And I think most people would be like, yeah, I was really nervous. And he's like, I don't know. No one expected me to make it, so I'm just swinging free. And I was like, what a great mind. Like, you can't buy that mindset.
No, you can't. I do think about what you're talking about almost more so as it relates to like Dan Jenkins and like, like Hogan in the 40s and 50s, and everybody was an underdog. Like everybody was a Cinderella because they didn't know anybody. Like if you weren't Hogan or Nelson, it was like, who is this? I'm probably overstating that. But it's not as if the people, and because golf is so regional, it's not as if the people of Augusta who attended the event, who attended the Masters, were reading about, so-and-so at the Portland Open and like.
No, like TC Chen would come over from Asia and they'd be like, this mysterious man from Asia is contending in the U.S. Open. And it was like, because no one ever knew who he was. And there was no world ranking. Like, you're not getting the results from those tournaments in a newspaper. Like the whole reason Golf Week existed and like became successful was they ran just scores that nobody else ran.
Yeah.
Like, so, I mean, they don't know who, like there's 5 people they know who they are.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's a nice like innocence, or like it's just a nice like you almost come every tournament you just kind of come into like a fresh slate of like, I don't know who half these people are. Like,
totally.
Let's see what happens.
It feels less tiring. It feels more optimistic or more naive or more exciting or more innocent because you don't know. And I think the way we cover not just golf but all sports now, you're just like, I don't know what else to say about Scottie Scheffler. Like, I feel like I've said all the words that I'm like, of course, I'm going to continue to write about him and I'm fascinated by him. But sometimes I just think like, man, are we overdoing this a little bit?
It probably makes it exhausting for them too of like, hey, Scottie, there's been like a quarter stroke dip in your strokes gained over the last 5 events. Like, what do you have to say about that? It's like, I don't know,
you have
man.
to say for yourself.
But like, there's just even there was that tweet going around. I think it was Mel Reed and Justin Ray, and they were talking about the dispersion of strokes gained stats among major winners on the LPGA, and like it had been 50% putting versus 30, and I'm like, I don't know, putting's important. Like, is that off? I don't know. It doesn't feel that off to me. Maybe it's too much, but you also got to make putts. I do think we over-index ball striking now because of strokes gained, but I don't know. That's something they were not worrying about in 1980.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, got a couple other things, but first let's talk about OGO. The new Renegade Vault carry-on. That's what I will be taking. So I'll be taking to College World Series and to Shinnecock the week after, next week, I guess. The Vault's exterior features ultra durable carbon fiber corner protectors and a high impact shell built to take hits and keep moving. OGO built it because hard side luggage has gone soft. You can check them out at www.ogo.com. OGO has been a longtime supporter of both Normal Sport and this show, which has really only been in existence for about a year. But they've been with us throughout. Appreciate them and pumped to travel with their luggage over the next couple of weeks. Sean, let's go with. Well, we were kind of just talking about this. What do we overvalue and undervalue in pro golf right now? Because I think this tends to be very cyclical. Like we get in these ruts of like, and I'm as guilty of this as anybody, but Sirksand tee to green or decade, or I don't know. There's a million things that we sort of like latch onto, and that's like the flavor of the month. But like, what are your things that you think we're kind of overvaluing or undervaluing within pro golf?
So I vacillate on whether we over or undervalue the mental side. Like, on the one hand, you hear about Scottie Scheffler and the reasons that his mind is better than other people's, and the reason that his outlook and his mindset makes him superior and gives him an advantage. I'm working on a feature on Jackson Koiven, and his childhood coaches are like, man, when he was 6 years old, like he had an attention span that other kids didn't, and he could focus on golf longer. And even then, he knew what he wanted, and he could tell. But then I've talked to swing coaches who are like, man, everyone acts like these guys are these like mental superheroes when they're like mental midgets, and they're all super anxious and super neurotic and super self-focused. And like, if they knew what actually went on in these guys' heads, like they'd be shocked. And so I can't tell if there's a lot of guys with similar physical skills and the mental side is what separates them, or if there are just fewer guys that just really have those physical skills that separate them from the pack, and the mental side is not. I don't know. I just go back and forth on how important the mental side is, and I think it's important. I think the ability to withstand pressure probably is the big one. Like I remember the former tour player Martin Pillar has become a good friend of mine, and one of our buddies was kind of talking about a friend of his wanted to go pro and advice for him, and he goes like, man, it's really just going to come down to a couple putts a year. Like, do you make the 5-footer on the last hole at second stage? Do you make the 6-footer on 18 to finish T5 instead of T7 and get way more points than you did before? And so being someone who always folded under pressure, I can definitely see where like not folding is an advantage, but also professional golfers aren't these like superheroes who just have transcended the struggles of humanity and have these like, AI, general intelligence type minds that just are completely rational. Like they have the same irrationalities and fears and anxieties as the rest of us. So I think I over-index, or I go back and forth on the mental side for sure. I do think we underestimate putting just because, strokes gained has showed it's the hardest to replicate, day to day, week to week, year to year. Like I think Jackson Koiven really is just an amazing putter. Like you talk to everyone, and it's like he's always been an amazing putter. He still is. So I think you can separate yourself with putting. Yeah, I think those are the big ones I probably think about more than others.
I think the mental side is interesting because you have to be both. Like the part that I find very difficult, whether it's in the long term or in the short term, is you have to be very humble, but you also have to be very self-confident. And those things together are extremely difficult to kind of hold in tension with one another. And so what I mean by you have to be extremely humble is like, and I think this is, I've talked about this a bunch. I think this is what Scottie is great at is, hey, I could hit that shot, but I'm going to have humility and not hit it because I know I could get into trouble. Like that's a position of like humility, right? Mm-hmm. But then when you're over a 5-footer to win a tournament, you have to say, I'm the best effing putter on the planet. Like I am going to make this. And I think like it's really hard, I think, to hold both of those in your hands at the same time. And I do think that like holding both of them makes you great. Like I think that most of the greats, I mean, I think Nicholas did both of those very well. I think Scottie does them very well. I think, Tiger did them differently, but I actually think he did them very well, and I think that's the part where it's like, it's very easy to run to one of the extremes, to be like, I'm always the best and I'm going to hit every shot, or to just be super meek and like not hit any shot and miss the putts and not think that you're good. And the most difficult thing is to be kind of in the middle of those. And I think that's what I find to be the hardest part about the mental side.
Yeah, I think you have to have a certain skill set to get yourself in the door. I think then the mental side can definitely separate from there. But I think also there's a little bit of survivor bias though too. Like I bet there's a ton of guys who were good college players and good Corn Ferry Tour players who had amazing mindsets.
Hmm.
and we just don't talk about them and they got the most out of their talents, and that was the Corn Ferry Tour. I think we lionize these guys that make it to the PGA Tour because they're the examples of success. But like, there's some guys who, man, just like getting conditional status on the Corn Ferry Tour is like a huge victory. Like, they got the most out of what they were given. Um, and I think that, so I think you need a certain skill set to get yourself in the door. And then it is interesting. I think realizing your limitations, kind of like you said, is huge. Trying to be something you're not is often the quickest downfall. So I think there's the humility. There's like, yeah, pride, and I know what I'm really good at and what I'm not good at. And
Yeah.
so having humility to admit that, and then just like maximizing that. And then also kind of being content where the chips fall. Like, I don't know, being 75th in the world might be your ceiling. And man, you should get a ton of credit for being that,
Yeah.
because you maximize your skill set to even get there. So I think you're spot on there as well.
It's a minefield though. Like, any one of those can trip you up mentally, right? Like, I think that's it's just a very difficult thing. I didn't.
Scott,
Go ahead.
I was going to say, Scott Fawcett tells a story that Maverick McNeely told him. Tiger came to campus, and I think Maverick was the player who asked him, what was your secret to major championships? And he's like, when I was in trouble, I would just dump it to 40 feet and two-putt every time and make par and get out of there. It wasn't like, man, I was roofing 5 irons, hitting them 100 feet in the air and sticking them and hitting them to 2 feet. Like, I guess, shout out Jerry Pate. But like, it was really just, hey, when I was in trouble, I had the discipline to get out of it and move on. And even with Jack Nicklaus, it was recently, it might have been Memorial. There was a quote of like, I liked just hanging with a guy and being like even with him or one back with 5 to go and like letting him make the mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we talk about that like as a mental side. There's definitely a mental side to that of like being comfortable in that position. There's also a physical side of like the only way you do that where you like keep being kind of like we talk about relentless, like with Scottie and making par in difficult conditions is being really freaking good and like not mishitting a shot. So it's partly mental. It's partly being comfortable in that situation. It's partly just being really freaking good. Like the 80th player in the world could say like, yeah, I really just want to be like one back with 6 to go, and I'm just going to keep beating the door down and make other people make mistakes. It's like, no, actually, you're the guy who's going to make the mistake because like you're not as good. Like Lamagna mentioned it of like, you talk about like, oh gosh, this guy's so close to, he puts, shoots 64 one round. He just can't put 4 rounds together. And the thing with golf is like what separates people in golf is the ability to just continually hit like good shots over and over and over again. And then your bad shots not being as bad. Like you're hitting almost 300 shots a tournament, 270 shots a tournament. Like that's what we over-index on, actually, is like great shots. We're like, oh my gosh, what an amazing shot, he did this. But like, really, the thing with golf is it's repetition. And that's what separates Scottie. It's like, it's just marginally picking up strokes on the field, shot after shot after shot. Like, and Scottie might hit like 10 approach shots in a row to 20 feet, and he's just picking up little bits of strokes every time. And you might watch a guy like flags one, flags another, you're like, oh my gosh. But then he dumps in the water and he loses, 1 stroke on that alone. And the one guy, you're like, gosh, look how good he is. He flagged those 2 shots, but then he also hit one in the water. And Scottie, you're like, I don't know, he hit it 20 feet every time. Like, cool, I guess. But like the Scottie method is what's going to win. So I think we over-index on highlights. This is actually probably true. Probably true of my life, I feel like, and probably others. We over-index on like highlights, and we under-index on like just like day in, day out, hour by hour consistency. And just consistently like building bricks. Like, I mean, Rome wasn't built in a day, right? Like, what does that mean? It means like they laid bricks every day for thousands of years to finally get to Rome. So we can cut out the other stuff, just like clip out like 20 minutes and we'll get more to that stuff. And then
I mean, it's the difference between JT and Scottie. Like, if you watch JT and Scottie hit irons, like, hey, hit like a 30-yard, slinger at that back left pin over the, like, JT would, you might be more impressed with JT, but then when it comes to doing it, for 4 straight days or 4 straight months, like Scottie will just not blow him away, but he'll be significantly better than him. I mean, I was thinking about this on Monday, even with the U.S. Open qualifying and golf's longest day, and I was kind of watching some of it, reading, Golf Channel, whatever. And I was like, man, that seems exhausting. Like, that seems tiring to like go play 36 and to just to be a pro golfer. And so I think the thing, Smartin, that and we talk about this a lot, but the thing I'm so impressed by is like, for a Miles Russell or for somebody who's, 17, 18, 19, 20, it's got to be like a thrill. You got to be like so jacked up to get out there. But to be, Rory at 37 and to be, we talk about this on the 12U baseball team that I coach. I'm like, you guys need to learn to get great at very boring things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I think like some of the guys that have put together these careers, it's like they just got great at very boring things, and they didn't get tired of it. And I don't know how you don't get tired of it. I mean, I get tired of golf after I play for like 3 days in a row, and I'm like, kind of like might need a break from this. And
What a seamless transition from Rory to 12U baseball.
for sure, the only one that would be made today in the golf world. So
and
yeah,
success, something I think about a lot too, is success is this combination of like good fortune and like gifts you've been given, and then also hard work. And I don't know like what the percentage breakdown is. Like how much of success, like how much of Rory McIlroy's success was like these innate gifts that he got from the womb, and how much was it like work ethic, hard work, etc. Like if you took myself and Rory McIlroy and you gave us the same regimen, I don't think you'd get the same results. So there's something innate to Rory's success. But if you overly view it as innate, then you won't work hard because you'll be fatalistic. Like, well, I don't have the gifts that the other person does. But if you only view success as the result of hard work, if you don't get success, you'll just work yourself into the ground trying to get it. Because you're like, all right, well, I just got to work harder. Like, that's the answer. I just need to work more. And everyone has a limit to how hard they can actually work. Some have a higher limit. One of the best things I ever heard a coach say to me was like, the ability to work really hard is a talent in itself.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like even the hardest worker has limits. So I don't know.
But this is where, and this is hard because you don't know, there's not like like when you're playing video game or when you're playing, NCAA football, and it's like, well, here's your rating. Like this is like the most you can be. It's not like somebody tells you that as it relates to golf. Like Webb Simpson has a different rating than like Rory McIlroy, right? But you don't know what it is. Like you don't know what those are. And so you have to find the ability to be content with, hey, this is like the best I could have ever been. And I think the hard part is you don't know what that is. Like you don't know like what that limit is. Because you're right, you can overdo it, you can overthink it, work it, over torque things, and you become worse because of it. Huh?
Lots of twerking.
No, torque, not torque.
Torque, okay.
And you become worse because of it. So I think all that golf is just so hard. Can you guess who do you think is the 80th ranked player in data golf right now? You said if you're the 80th ranked player in the world and you have a mindset of like who do you think?
I'm an OWGR stan, if I'm honest.
Well, just it's probably similar.
Data golf.
I'm going to say Tom Kim. I haven't looked.
I honestly have no idea.
You don't have a guess?
Casey Jarvis.
Casey Jarvis is 109.
Okay.
Tom Kim is 120. 80 is Abraham Answer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Go Sooners.
Yeah, for sure. Mark Leishman, 79.
Okay.
Okay, last thing. Speaking of greats,
Pete
Nelly won. Do what?
Pete Incaviglia. Sorry, I just learned that Pete Incaviglia was the all-time college baseball home run leader.
You didn't know that?
No. The list, I mean, you want to talk about guys who didn't have success as pros. I mean, the all-time college baseball home run leaders list is that.
I've got it right here. What are you reading right now, by the way? I thought of this because I'm reading this biography of Chipper Jones, or it's not really a biography. It's like an autobiography. And he talks about... Do what?
I'd rather read the biography. I feel like the
For
autobiography might
sure.
leave some stuff out.
For sure. But he talks about how Pete Incaviglia was on that like mid 90s Phillies team that had Darren Dalton and
Gosh.
Kurt Schilling
Dijkstra.
and Dykstra, Kruk. And he
Yep.
basically, I don't think he said it, but he basically was like, yeah, they were all juicing. Like they were all huge. They were all just monsters. But what, are you reading anything good right now?
I'm reading The Road to Omaha. In part, the hopes were that I'd be on the road to Omaha with the Cal Poly Mustangs. Didn't happen. Man, my Twitter algo is so messed up right now too. Like I'm so deep in West Virginia athletics Twitter, and it's a scene for sure.
Yeah.
There were a lot of very nice people from West Virginia I interacted with on social media, and then there were a lot of not as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm reading The Road to Omaha, and then I'm reading John Maxwell's Everyday Matters.
Okay. Is it good?
Book. It is good. So probably a lot of the thoughts I've spewed on this podcast are from reading that, I think. Of just, again, it's kind of the building blocks of like, hey, make this day the best and then build on days. Like have good days, structure your days and build on those.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing with golf. It's like hit this shot. Like just hit this shot. Don't worry about the three before.
I think they call it one shot at a time. All right. So what are you reading? And then I really want to hear this college baseball homer list.
I'm reading that Chipper Jones autobiography. I just finished The Correspondent. Have you read that?
I have not.
Ugh, best book I've read in like 2 or 3 years.
Is it fiction or nonfiction?
It's fiction, but it tells the story of this woman's life through letter writing. So it's all letters. There's a name for it. I can't remember.
I don't do fiction because it's not real.
No, you don't do fiction because you're scared to like rest and just enjoy.
There's might be some truth to that.
Enjoy reading.
Have you watched the Rafa documentary?
No, I'm dying to. I really want to.
I've read 4 reviews on it. I haven't read it yet, or I haven't watched it yet, but I've read 4 reviews. And I'm psyched to watch it when I do.
The Correspondent was excellent. I've been trying to read more fiction. I just picked up a bunch of stuff from the library, but yeah, I'm reading the Chipper Jones autobiography. Autobiography.
Can we talk about how libraries are kind of a scam?
What?
Well, because like the author only gets paid once for the book, and then just hundreds of people read it. It's a tough scene for authors. The library is.
Yeah. Okay. What do you suggest? Like, what's your?
I don't know. Like, trust me, I want to promote reading. Don't get me wrong. Let's not take it as I'm anti-reading.
Well, I'm going.
We're definitely hitting the end of this podcast too. But I just feel bad for the author. Like, it only gets bought once, and then just all these people read it.
I mean, the solution there is like more funding for libraries, and they pay the author a percentage of every time it gets checked out.
I like that, like Spotify model.
Yeah,
like you get paid per stream.
Yeah, but then like more of your tax dollars are going to go to your public library. Sure. Are you okay with that?
I don't think I'd notice. It probably wouldn't be much.
I would imagine that most, like 90% of the books at the library never get checked out.
100%. Yeah.
Like
I would love to see that spreadsheet actually.
Yeah. If there are any librarians listening to this, please reach out.
Librarians from West Virginia definitely are triggered right now.
Wait, say that again.
Librarians from West Virginia are definitely just triggered listening to this. They've turned it off already.
I don't know that there are a lot of libraries in West Virginia.
All right, now that was too far. I can't stand for that.
Okay, all-time home run list. Pete Incaviglia, 100 home runs in 213 games, which is crazy.
That's insane.
Jeff Ledbetter, 1979, 1982, played for Florida State. Todd Green, Georgia
David's
Southern.
brother.
Todd Green.
David's brother. No, Joseph Ledbetter.
Oh, Jeff
Ledbetter.
Is it really his brother?
No. David Ledbetter from South Africa.
It might be. Eddie Furness, LSU, 1995 to 1998. He was probably on that Warren Morris
sick
team.
Name. Eddie Furness?
Yeah.
Like a Furnace?
No, Furniss. Frank Fazzini, Florida State.
Also a great name.
1983, 1985. He had 79 home runs. Brad Cressy, I actually remember him, LSU, 1997 to 2000. George Canale, Chad Sutter, Jack Caglione. He's the only like modern one. Florida, and then Matt Laporta, he was also Florida 2004 to 2007. So all those
That's because
guys
they
hit.
rolled back the bats. I mean,
Yeah, I know.
Jack is your true champion. I don't know what they did to the bats, but they rolled them back. Also, I
Yeah,
think because I think people were in danger of dying from
yes,
balls hit off those bats. So it was
for
probably a good
sure.
move.
There's so many. Like I remember watching Khalil Green for
Yeah,
Clemson. Do you remember him?
I do. The name that struck me in this book, well, I remember a couple names. I always get the wrong Ortiz brother, I think, that was on the ground crying for Miami after Warren Morris hit the homer.
Cora.
Joey Cora, or Alex
Yeah,
Cora, Joey Cora.
yeah.
Yeah, was just on the ground crying after the Warren Morris homer. And then I didn't realize that Yonder Alonso played for Miami. He was a beast. So I thought he maybe came straight from Cuba. I didn't realize it was really amazing. They talk about his dad was like a Cuban baseball star,
Mm.
came to the United States so his son could grow up in the United States. And like his dad was like basically a school janitor. He'd been this Cuban, he played for the Yankees of Cuba, Cuban baseball star, moves to the United States, becomes a janitor so his son can play baseball in the States. It's pretty incredible.
Yonder Alonso career salary.
Sorry, you cut out.
Yonder Alonso career salary.
35 mil?
29. Very close.
Okay.
Those Miami teams were unbelievable. I think Miami has maybe the best uniforms in the country, by the way.
Current or old?
All the above.
Okay.
I think their current uniforms are awesome. I think their old uniforms are awesome. I really like North Carolina's also. Haven't seen a ton of Cal Poly's unis.
Well, green and black main color scheme. Honestly, we should. I could go for maybe a gold top. I think we struggle in California. A lot of all the UC schools, the University of California, there's like 20 of them have blue and yellow. So I was watching a game between UC Santa Barbara and I think UC Irvine, and both teams had yellow tops, blue pants, and yellow socks. Like they were dressed. I don't know how that's legal, but they were wearing basically the same uniform. It was insane.
Which one's the Anteaters? Irvine?
Irvine, yeah.
Okay.
Banana Slugs or Santa Cruz.
Got it. Okay, last thing. We are way off the rails with libraries and West Virginia, Miami uniforms. So Nelly wins U.S. Open. Scottie is, I think, like doing generational stuff. He's not winning though. He's only won once this year. I'm just curious about. So both of them have 4 majors now. Where do you stand on them, just in terms of their trajectory? Where they're, a lot of times in golf, and I think people maybe don't realize this at the time, but historically, major winners, whether it's the men's or women's side, they've done a lot of their major winning, or historically great golfers, they've done a lot of their major winning in very short bursts. So you look at Arnold Palmer, he won all 7 within like 5 years. You look at, we thought that was going to be true of Rory. It probably is true of Spieth. Like a lot of these guys, Brooks, I think it will probably be true. Like he won all 5 within 4 years or whatever. So I'm curious if you think that Nelly and you can maybe take them separately, but Nelly and Scottie will continue this sort of trajectory of winning majors for, 10 years rather than just like 4 or 5.
Yeah, I mean, I think the women, and it came up a little bit, I think, as Allison Lee was trying to become the first mother to win the Women's Open in forever. And I don't know Nelly's personal plans, but I think it's definitely harder for women because if they choose to have children, obviously they are out for a while. So that I think we've just seen it. They seem to retire earlier. Obviously, women mature sooner than boys, etc. So you've seen your Lydia Ko's and all that, and they're done by 30. Nelly obviously started. I mean, she was a great junior player, obviously, and she's been pro, I think, since she was 17. So I think when you start that young, I think it's easier to end younger. Like, I think this is one of the big things kind of in this Koiven feature we're working on is pro golf's hard. Like is it coal mining? No. Is it, going to war in World War II? Like, no, but the lifestyle is hard. Like the travel, the amount of golf, like the, mental gymnastics that golf entails, like the pressure, the stress, like the loneliness, like professional golf is hard. So when you started at 17, like Nelly did, then I think it's natural that you'll probably want to end sooner.
Hmm.
I think Scottie feels on a more sustainable path. I think Nelly does a good job of playing a limited schedule. I'm sure there's a lot of pressure on her to play every week because she's the big name in women's golf right now. Um, but I just think that I think starting, especially at 17, like pro golf has to be hard,
Yeah.
and so I think I could see it ending sooner for that reason. I feel like Scotty's interesting with the putter because I feel like, he goes to Phil Kenyon and we think in 2024 and then 2025, especially like he's got it figured out. And I feel like maybe we're seeing a little regression. I don't know. And so is it going to be a battle he fights throughout his career? But also like the ball striking's so good. Um, I mean, I can definitely see Scotty picking off a late career major if he's still competing. Like, um, kind of like Rory of like, I can see Scotty winning a major in his late 40s for sure. Just
Late
like Rory's
40s.
46, 47, maybe. I don't see a reason why not. Outside of obviously, health or injuries. Now he may not be competing at that age, but I think I think he could. I mean, I think he just can hit the ball so well and plot his way around a golf course that I could see like a 86 Masters type thing from him. I mean, I could see like the way, I mean, Augusta is like, autopilot for him, it feels like. So I could
Yeah.
see like a Nicklaus style, like late 40s Masters victory or something. I feel like all greats, like they win a lot in the short period, but
Yeah.
then they all have this like last gasp that comes years later. Tiger in 2019, Jack in 86,
Phil.
Phil Akiwa, Arnie's last win, like, yeah, it was a Bob Hope, but it was his last win, but I think it came like 6 years after his most recent victories. Like, I feel like all greats have this like one last gasp
Yeah.
that comes later. So,
I mean, you're not saying that Scotty's done winning majors right now, I
no,
presume.
no.
Where do you stand on? I mean, he hasn't won since the Amex in January.
But he's
He's been
finished
playing
second like
great.
every week. Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. He's been playing great. People freak out when you don't win. I mean, going back to like if this is the 1950s, we might be like, who is this guy again? Like, yeah, he hasn't won, but we have strokes gained. He's he's right at 3 strokes gained per round, which is I mean, it remains like an unfathomable number for the modern era to sustain it for 4 or 5 years. Um, the iron play hasn't been as good this year. I don't know that that's the biggest thing in the world. It's hasn't been 2 years of it. It's been a couple months of like it's a little off. So yeah, I'm curious if you feel like he like how do you feel about him right now compared to this time last year?
Probably about the same. I mean, honestly, like you remember those first, I mean, he started the year after the hand injury and he was playing fine. He's finishing 12th. He's finishing in the top 25. But like it really, I mean, the year became special from the PGA on, or
Yeah,
maybe the CJ Cup. Like he wins the CJ Cup in May for his first win of the year, and then goes on a tear, wins the PGA, wins the Open. Um, so I think he's playing better than he was. Well, I think May of this year, a month ago, he's playing better than he was May of last year.
yeah,
So I don't see any reason why he couldn't win Shinnecock, win the Open at Birkdale, and have a great year still. I think he's probably about where he was. Last year obviously there was a hand injury. This year, I mean, 2024, Bennett was born in the middle of the year, so he's had good success around kids being born, but he had a kid born mid-year, which maybe interrupts things, by choice. Like he may have wanted to practice less and be home more, etc. So you can't discount it as, maybe it's a reason why,
yeah,
which is understandable and commendable and all that. So I feel like we look at Scotty's years like this, like lost cause, and it's like, I mean, he could win 2 majors this year and be player of the year still.
totally.
So
Yeah, I mean, and if he wins one, he's caught Brooks
right,
in terms of majors. If he wins both of them, he's caught Phil. He's 29. I mean,
yeah,
it's
and Rory,
and Rory and yeah, and have won the Slam in like
yeah,
before he turns 30. So I'm not. Yeah, I have I don't know. People were freaking out about the Ted Scott thing and like yelling at him or not even yelling, but like talking to him at Memorial and what he said. And I'm like, oh, this is a sign that he's on the down. And it's like, sell me your stock, man. Like I want it. Like he is, I think people just still are unaware of like how like the level that he's been at and the amount of time that he's been there. And some of this, I've talked about this with other people. Part of it is because he wasn't Jackson Coyven coming out of college, right? Like he was good. He won the junior AM. He was successful at Texas, but he wasn't Jackson Coyven. He wasn't even Preston Stout. And so I think there's this sense of like, oh, well, this won't last another year. And it just keeps going. Which is crazy to me. As far as Nelly goes, I wrote about this for the newsletter on Tuesday, but I think Nelly has a chance to be the best modern women's American golfer. And you look at some of the other names that have been up there, it's, that are just ahead of her in terms of majors. I think it's Julie Inkster. I'm doing this off the top of my head. Amy Alcott. Like there's 4 or 5 names that she's kind of getting in range of in terms of majors and total wins. And if she wins, 1 or 2 more majors, she's kind of in that conversation for best modern women's American player, which is pretty crazy. I mean, that's not something that, I don't think there's nobody on the men's side that has a chance to do that because of what Tiger did. So I don't know. I think what she's doing is cool because it's pretty historic, and same with Scottie, but I would say even more so for Nelly.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not enough of a historian of the women's game to comment there. I do the Grand Slams within reach, which is always an amazing accomplishment. But
Yeah.
and I mean, just the family in general is pretty amazing. To all have success like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty incredible.
Bassi Corda. Okay. Enough library College World Series Nelly talk. Sean, thanks for your time. Enjoy the College World Series. Enjoy the Canadian Open. Enjoy the U.S. Open. Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Shout out to OGO. Thanks for sponsoring, and we will talk to you guys again later on.